understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon.
She wants to attach her name to Carrie Underwood's name so that she maintains relevance because they know the ship is sinking.
The View is sinking, and even former hosts are now sounding the alarm. What happened to one of America's most iconic daytime talk shows? Well, it's not just the declining ratings that have many people concerned, it's the growing sense that this ship is already taking on water. You can argue that The View has always been political, but it's taken a turn in recent years that's alienated half of the audience. But it's not just the audience that's calling out the show's downfall, even people who used to sit behind the desk are speaking up. This week, former co-host Elizabeth Hasselbeck made an appearance on Fox News, stating that The View is nearing its end. The show, she says, won't survive if it continues down the path of constantly bashing conservative views. But what sparked the latest controversy? It was a comment from Joy Behar about country music star Carrie Underwood. Behar suggested that Underwood couldn't possibly be a real patriot if she performed for Donald Trump at his inauguration. Wait, what? That's right. In a stunning move, Joy Behar took aim at Underwood simply because she was involved in a moment of history where Trump was at the center. Behar implied that if you're supporting Trump, you can't be a true American. But here's where it gets interesting. Her co-hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and Sarah Hynes, didn't stand behind her. In fact, they pushed back against Behar's sentiment, saying Carrie Underwood had every right to perform where she wanted and to support whoever she chose. They stood their ground, proving that not everyone on that stage shares Behar's rigid partisan views.
I believe I have the right to make up my mind to go perform someplace.
This moment was more than just a simple disagreement between co-hosts. It was a tipping point for The View, revealing just how much the show has drifted from its original purpose. The View once prided itself on being a platform where diverse opinions could be heard. Now, however, it feels more like a pulpit for one political perspective, and that alienates people who don't share that view. The real question is, can the show survive this internal divide? Let's backtrack for a moment and consider the bigger picture. The View isn't the only part of the media world grappling with these issues. It's happening across the board in Hollywood and television. There's a reason why people are tuning out, and it's not because of a lack of quality content. People are tuning out because they're tired of being told what they should think, who they should support, and which political views they should align with. The show's apparent disdain for conservative viewpoints isn't just alienating part of their audience, it's making the show feel less relevant and less relatable. We all know the entertainment industry leans left. Hollywood is overwhelmingly liberal. But does that mean viewers should abandon their favorite stars just because their political views don't align with theirs? Of course not. Imagine if we all stopped watching movies or shows simply because we didn't agree with the actors' politics. We'd barely watch anything. Take Robert De Niro, for instance. He's been vocal about his views, yet no one's calling for a boycott of his films. Or consider Whoopi Goldberg, who has no problem supporting left-leaning causes. Yet people still enjoy her performances in movies like Sister Act because they recognize that art and politics are separate. This should be the way it works for The View too. The problem is that they've become so engrossed in political warfare that they've lost sight of what made the show popular in the first place: diverse voices and genuine conversations. This brings us to the ever controversial Carrie Underwood. While Joy Behar was busy dismissing her as unpatriotic, Underwood was out there doing the hard work, something Behar clearly couldn't grasp. Underwood, who won American Idol based on public votes, has become one of the most beloved country stars in America. Her album All American Girl was a celebration of everything that makes America great, and her USO tours where she's served and performed for military personnel are the definition of patriotism. But somehow, in Behar's eyes, this doesn't make her a real American. That's a tough pill to swallow when you realize the extent to which Underwood has contributed to American culture and society. Behar's remarks weren't just a criticism of Underwood's involvement in Trump's inauguration. They were an attack on the idea that someone can disagree with you politically and still love their country. The irony of calling someone unpatriotic simply because they perform at an event or support a different candidate is hard to ignore. Behar's comments weren't about patriotism at all. They were about political intolerance. And that, my friends, is where The View is losing its way. Instead of fostering an environment where different political views can be discussed openly, the show has become a battleground where differing opinions are shouted down and dismissed as un-American. Carrie Underwood's role in the inauguration wasn't just about Trump. It was about honoring the office of the president, something every American should respect regardless of political affiliation. This is where Behar missed the mark. It's about the bigger picture, about showing up for your country even when the politics aren't aligned with your personal beliefs. Underwood's decision to perform wasn't a political statement, it was a patriotic one. But Behar's commentary blurred the lines, reducing the meaning of her performance to mere partisanship. And if you think this is just about one isolated incident, think again. The View has been struggling for years, and this moment is just the latest symptom of a much larger issue. If you listen to Elizabeth Hasselbeck, who was once a conservative co-host on the show, she'll tell you that The View's downfall started when they began pushing a political agenda that was alienating half of the country. Hasselbeck, who left the show in 2013, appeared on Fox News to discuss her views on the show's decline, and she didn't hold back. She made it clear that The View was becoming less of a platform for open discussion and more of a political soapbox, leaving no room for differing opinions. Hasselbeck's point isn't just about political bias, it's about the show's survival. She believes that The View can't continue alienating viewers on one side of the political spectrum and expect to remain relevant. After all, how many shows can afford to alienate such a large portion of the population without paying the price? In a media landscape where viewers have more choices than ever before, The View's brand of partisan politics is starting to feel tired and outdated over a long period of time. But it's not just the political bias that's causing the show to falter, it's the lies, and that have become a staple of their programming. But here's the thing, viewers are catching on. They're no longer buying the narrative that the mainstream media is trying to sell them. People want to hear the truth, not a version of events that's been carefully crafted to fit a particular political agenda. The View's problem isn't just that it's pushing a liberal agenda, it's that it's doing so at the expense of its credibility. People are tired of being lied to, especially in an age where information is so easily accessible. The media landscape is changing, and shows like The View that continue to lie to their audiences will ultimately be left behind. It's a simple fact. People want honesty, they want diversity of thought, and they want content that reflects the world as it is, not as a political narrative would like it to be. So what's next for The View? Will they be able to change course and return to their roots of open conversation and diverse perspectives? Or will they continue sinking under the weight of their own bias? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the days of manipulating audiences are coming to an end. The future belongs to those who can tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable. And for The View, that might be the hardest lesson of all. At the end of the day, the real question is, what's more un-American? Silencing someone because they don't agree with you politically, or allowing them the freedom to express their views without fear of being labeled unpatriotic? It's time to rethink how we approach politics and media, and maybe, just maybe, The View could learn something from people like Carrie Underwood. People who believe in America, who love their country, and who believe in the power of free speech.